salutations. Welcome to Single in the City. I am Justin C. Gilbert, joined by my beautiful and brilliant co-hosts, Miss Genesis Moore and Tiara Berry.
What's up?
Okay, ladies, so today, instead of our, typical first segment, asking for a friend, I thought that we'd go about it a little bit differently.
Okay.
I was scrolling my timeline on the gram the other day, and
Prophetic.
at Bob in UK has this really dope game called Debate Date that I was able to get my hands on.
Oh,
and
wow.
I figured we would let those questions come from the deck and see where it took us.
Let's see
Y'all
where it
game?
takes us.
I mean, my homegirls are gonna be mad, but that's fine. They'll sit this week out. It's okay, girls. We'll be back next week.
Yes, go experience some things. We'll catch y'all later.
Get better questions.
Here we go. Question one.
Uh-huh.
Whoa, Bob. Okay. What do you think most people have yet to learn about relationships?
Wow.
Deep.
Okay.
What do you
Came through
think
swinging.
most people have yet to learn about relationships?
Off rip, what I think most people have yet to learn about relationships is that the inevitable is change.
Yes.
That's good.
In no way, shape, or form will you be the same person that your partner fell in love with, and your partner will not be the same person that you fell in love with. And that's not a bad thing. It
Right.
can be a bad thing, but I think we're supposed to evolve overall.
Absolutely.
And if we're not evolving, then we're dissolving, and that can
Yes.
happen too in a relationship, which is why so many people and relationships end up in divorce or just breaking up and not working out. And I think a large part of that conversation about divorce and just breakups in general is because people didn't have conversations about how people are going to change throughout the years. There's
Yeah.
always you're not the same person I fell in love with or who I married. And it's like, but who said that any of us are supposed to be the same people that we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Not.
2 weeks ago?
Shoot.
Experiences will shape our lives to be different. Relationships, our career, different things will have us on different patterns of life. And it's always important for us to try to align on frequencies, but also know that God put us here to walk an individual path. And sometimes we do end up walking that path with others. But I think the inevitable is change, and we have to realize that, so.
I think that is so powerful. Like
That
when
is
you
very
when you were
good.
speaking on it, it made me think about the importance of in a marital situation, someone marrying based on where they're going, not necessarily where they are, so that they can see the qualities in a spouse or a significant other that actually help them grow and develop into that person that they need to be to achieve that goal. But that's another topic for another day. That was
Right.
amazing.
That was good, though.
I do what I can. Shout
You
out to
know,
Bob for the question.
saying.
But I ain't do all the work. Bob had the question.
What you got for us, Genesis?
Well, mine is a little less, it's not as deep, but just sacrifices and compromises, right? That's the first thing that came to my
Very
head
important.
is when you're with someone, I think you really, really know how much you love a person and how much you really want to be there when you can say, I want to sacrifice for this person.
Wow.
I'm willing to be a little uncomfortable to make this person happy. And not so much to where you start bending your standards and your will, but more so where you feel like you're making a compromise and you're inviting this person into your life. And it does have the remnants of we go from just being me to we.
Yeah.
And it's our decision on things. So I think that is something when it comes to, what is this? What do you think most people have yet to learn in relationships? I think that is a huge piece. It's just not being selfish. And
Right.
especially now with people marrying a lot later in life, everybody's not getting married at 20, 21 anymore.
Right.
It's more like, 31 and 41 people are getting married, for the first time.
And that could be something that people have learned,
Wow.
yeah.
What you haven't learned at a younger age, you learn through life, and that may be why people say, I have to figure out me first, and that's what
Before.
takes until the latter 30s, 40s for you to have that we. So that's a good observation.
And that's not anything to be ashamed of.
Right.
I know so many people that get caught up in the understanding what a relationship and their perfect relationship looks like right now, just so they don't, feeling like you're gonna miss the herd. Like if I don't get married now, ain't gonna be no men left. I'm gonna be 50 and then I'm gonna be compromising and sacrificing so much more than I would have had I gotten married at 26 or 27. But I think, just that goes along with knowing yourself and being the right person, and like you said, the life experiences.
I wonder, are there statistics that show that marriages that occur earlier in life have a higher rate of divorce? I wonder that.
I'm sure there is.
It seems like those who end up getting married in their latter 30s, 40s, even 50s, second marriage or third marriage, fourth marriage,
Right.
they get it right at some point, They get it right at some point. So that's a good observation, just how wisdom can definitely affect your ability to navigate relationships.
Wow.
What about you? How do you answer the question, what do you think most people have yet to learn about relationships?
What do you say?
Okay. It's a brilliant question. It just gets your mind going, right? All kinds of ways. I would say that people haven't quite gotten a handle on the ebbs and flows of the relationship economy. The economy of relationship. We all know from our banking experience that any account in good standing has more deposits than withdrawals.
Right.
So I think it's important for folks involved in relationships, for each partner to understand when they're making withdrawals from the relationship and deposits, and making sure that they don't make more withdrawals than deposits, so that the relationship won't become insufficient.
That's a good point, especially when you think about how relationships become toxic.
Right. Right.
It's them overdraft fees. You are overdrafting this relationship bank account. You doing too much. You taking too much, and you ain't putting enough in.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
It's an overdraft.
Or somebody else is putting more in, you taking more out. And even though it might not seem like there might not even be an overdraft fee for the relationship so much, but it's uneven.
Right.
Like where somebody, I could be giving 80%, you're giving 20%. But then at the end of the day, somebody still feels cheated in that relationship, and somebody walks away not feeling like themselves. And I would even add to that, how you love a person, how you put those deposits into a person, and even going further to say knowing when to do it for your significant other, right? So it could be a spiritual deposit. It could be an emotional deposit.
Right, wow.
It just doesn't have to be things that are financial. It doesn't have to be things that are, based on what you would do, right?
For them,
How would I like to receive the deposit that you're giving me? Are you tuned in? Are you really viewing me, understanding me? Do you really see me enough to understand what that looks like?
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Do you see me?
Do you see me?
Wow, that's powerful. And I mean, I guess all in all, the goal is for us not to end up emotionally bankrupt.
Right,
Okay, so.
Well, before we get off of this, I do want to ask a question that popped up. Shout out to Bob. Bob, you got me thinking. Where do you go to learn about relationships?
Ooh.
Right.
That's good.
Since people have so much yet to learn,
Wow.
teach me. Where do I go?
I personally, refer to people that have mastered the art of relationship and understand human behavior in a way. So I go like the clinical way, you know what I'm saying? Like let those people that have experienced their kind of reveal some things to me and give me things to think about. Because I mean, so much of what we know about relationships is caught rather than taught.
Yeah.
And we might not even be aware that
That's
we're
a
bringing,
good word, caught and taught.
we're bringing some toxicity that we've, just allowed to attach to us unknowingly to some relationships. So I like to refer to people that have actually studied that area, that concentration.
I know for me, brought up something really, really big for me, which is who are you listening to? And that's like in every aspect of your life. You know, if you're running a business, are you only listening to these people on Instagram that, you know, scrolling and they, you know, took one course and now they're an expert? Or are you listening to valid, qualified people or sources to get your information? So for me, I read a lot. I like to read about how relationships have worked in the past, you know, like how that played out. Like what was it about that? Is this more of a seduction tactic or is this something more of like a love tactic, you know? Understanding the other person. And I also think I've been very blessed and super fortunate to have some really good examples of what I would view as successful relationships in my lifetime, and people that have been able to do it not just once, but more than once.
Yes.
They may have gotten married twice, you know, like my grandmother, like, you know, my grandfather, they had a beautiful relationship, one of the best relationships I've ever seen. She got married again because my grandfather, unfortunately, you know, passed away. And even the second marriage is beautiful because it's a light in her that it brings out. So I've always looked at that and said, that's what I aspire to have. That's what I would like to have. And then even looking at how they problem solve, you know, that's very much so a learning experience for me, you know.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So education, experiences, that's where we go to learn. This has been awesome. I have enjoyed our first segment of episode 2 so much. So keep it locked right here. We will be back with Single in the City.
Dating is a journey, not a destination. And so I found that you just really have to exercise some patience.
I hear women like, you should come to church and you're gonna meet your husband here.
And coming from being married, you get into that thing of, I only know one person, so now it's just being a little bit more patient and seeing what it is that I really, really want.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
How would you define theopolitics?
There are politics that are attached to our theology, how people move about whether or not it's appropriate for men to observe other men as God moves or the Holy Spirit moves about them. These are unsaid or unspoken aspects of how we understand what is appropriate or competent in worship leadership. But they are at work nevertheless. And so that person who is demonstrative, who is animated, who causes us to touch and encounter God, and their ability to do so also makes us think about who they are connected to and what their identity is beyond the worship leader.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another segment of Single in the City. We are having a great conversation based on this wonderful card game. I'll go ahead, I'll hold up the box so everyone at home can see. Justin, thank you for bringing this. This is Bob in the UK, or Bob in UK debate date. And we are taking some questions from this game to see just, you know, some of our thoughts and our opinions and what we feel.
Yeah.
So you guys ready for the question 2?
Let's go.
Bring it on.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Is love a feeling or a choice? What do you guys think? Is love a feeling or is it a choice?
I'm going to let that one marinate because I answer first. So,
Justin,
what you
where
got?
are you?
I think love is, it is a feeling. I think it's a feeling that is brought on by camaraderie and people following through and just some other things. I'm kind of rambling right now. Let me see. What am I trying to say? I need to think about this.
It's deep. I get it. It's deep.
this.
For me,
Okay, well, let's see, T. We'll come back to Justin.
is love a feeling or a choice? As he was thinking, I was thinking, and I started to say in my head, love itself is a feeling. Follow me, y'all. But how you act out on love or display love or show love is a choice, and it's a constant choice. So, for example, parents love their kids. You know, mothers have that maternal instinct, which is love, to take care, to nurture their child. But to make their child the pinnacle of their life and to want to nurture them and want the best for them and to give them the best foods and want them to be in the best schools, not even from a financial standpoint, but the way they just tend to that relationship with their child, that's a choice you make.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same for relationships. Even our relationship with God, you know, like I can feel God. I can feel his love. But how I obey and listen and meditate on his word and attend church and fellowship with others, that's a constant choice that I have to make to walk this path in my own life. And I think that can go for relationships as well. I think there are a lot of circumstances where being in love with someone or just simply loving someone isn't the determiner of if a relationship will work out work out or not. I think that sometimes the more you love someone will help you to be able to put up with things.
Yeah.
But I think that you have to make a constant choice to want to stay. So you do, in a way, still choose to love even after you feel love, you know?
I get that.
And that's the only way that I think I can put it together in my mind.
I summed it up a little bit different than you, but kind of in that same vein of, I do think love is a feeling, right? It's something that happens to you, like personally. But I think who you love is the choice. And how you choose, to go to your point, to express that love is the choice. So, for example, I do think that there is a thing of seeing someone and being automatically like, I don't know what the pull, the connection is to this person is, but it's got a hold on me.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is love or if it's lust or if it's just, you know, my spidey senses going off. But in that same situation, choosing to dare to be courageous, to be brave, and actually indulge with that person to see if that feeling has any validity. And then, like you said, showing them through your actions, making the constant choice to get up every day and say, I'm going to choose love, right? But I think love can change.
Yes.
I think it matures. I think it also, it changes with who we are and with the people that we have chosen to extend that love to. There's a foundation part of it, like, you know, you love people with the love of God. But when we're talking about being in love with someone, I do strongly feel that the in love part of that is the choice. We choose who we are in love with. And you can choose to be in love or choose not to be in love. And that is an everyday choice. Like, you know how they say all those little things? It's the little things that amount to greatness. It's just like that. It's the little things that you do that you choose that make that love real.
That's good. That's good. This is a heavy question.
Very heavy.
Bob ain't playing, y'all. He ain't not playing.
It makes me. It gets me in super. You know, in a very cerebral space, because I have to start thinking about what builds love, like even in me. And what I came up with is consistency and care. When people exhibit those things, I feel like it gives place for love to grow and develop between two individuals.
Right.
Consistency and care. And you know, shoot, don't you be showing out if there are not like generally all positive experiences with a person, then that love grows. But I think consistency and care are the foundation of that love element, and it is a powerful feeling. But I think those things kind of take us to that place where we are open to the feeling. I totally agree with what both of you ladies said in terms of being in love being the choice, choosing to be in love, and how we show that being the choice. But that's what I got. Good grief, Bob.
Bob ain't playing. And I think it's important for us to understand, because I think it goes back to conversations about love languages and what you're willing to do for love, you know? Because if you only feel that you love me, okay, I hear you. I love you too. I know you love me, but what are the choices that you are going to make because you love me?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the bigger conversation I think we have to have with our partners and people around us, because I think some people use the I love you as an escape.
Wow.
And that's not always healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's about, to me, love, like you said, the foundation of it can always be the feeling. We all have feelings. But I think the choices that you make out of love are what keep people glued together.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Love is a verb. Love is a verb. I love you. That means I'm putting some action toward making sure that you feel, you can feel the love that I have inside. And I think it's powerful. It makes me think about the Care Bears. Like, that might be too old for some of y'all, but that Care Bear stare is them, you know what I'm saying, raising up and shooting that love out of their chest. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's taking what's inside of them and showing it to the people outside of them. So that Care Bear stare is powerful, and the people that I love, I'm on my Care Bear stare with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As often as possible.
And I think also, one thing that we can also talk about with this is expectations when it comes to love. And sometimes, just because people, like, disappointment comes from expectations.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So if you have really high expectations for a person and they constantly or consistently don't meet them, that can make you feel like they don't love you.
That's right.
You know? And that's the deeper issue, I think, where people kind of get in that sticky space. And I'll be honest, folks, I have not learned it. If I learned it, I probably wouldn't be single in the city. But I'm telling you that part of someone saying I love you and them showing their love in some ways, but it might not, even if they Care Bear stare at you and it's shooting from their chest, but it only gets here, it don't get there.
Right.
It's like, am I gonna love you because you tried, or am I gonna love you because I got what I needed? You know? And that's the difficult portion of really understanding the love thing and being in love with someone and choosing who you love.
Because people feel like love needs to be validated. You know, like if you tell me you love me, I have to feel it or I have to see it. And the way that you say it isn't always enough. I have to say, okay, I can see where you love me here. Check off that box. And I'm gonna show you how I love you, and then I want you to say, yes, I see that you love me, and check off the box. And I think people get caught up in validating the love that they have to the point where it sometimes isn't even organic anymore.
Wow.
I agree.
It's like, you don't love me the way you used to.
Wow, it could become a little contrived. I think that everyone's default is their own
perception of
their
love.
own love language.
Yeah.
The way that they receive love is how they give it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't hit, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's where conversation and communication are so important. They're like the bedrocks of successful relationship. Because if I'm coming at you and I'm constantly hitting you with gifts, but you're a quality time person, it's not gonna hit.
Yeah.
Because I like gifts, you know what I'm saying? So
And I like a little time.
it's so much to think
And
about.
I like them service bags.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? But thank you for sticking with us. We're gonna be right back after these messages. Stay right there.
Today, man, we got a real one for you. We coming with some of these braised oxtail. Nice and tender.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost in. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be flowing. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Dating is a journey, not a destination. And so I found that you just really have to exercise some patience.
I hear women like, you should come to church and you're gonna meet your husband here.
And coming from being married, you get into that thing of, I only know one person, so now it's just being a little bit more patient and seeing what it is that I really, really want.
What's up, guys? We are still hanging out, still single in the city. As you can see, I am here with my amazing co-host. I'm your girl, Tiara Berry, here with Justin Gilbert, Genesis Moore, and we would like to continue playing the game.
Yes.
So, our third and final question from Don in the UK, right?
Bob.
Bob.
In the UK.
My boy Bob then became the big Don. All right. Bob's question. What is your perception of the big God, God himself?
That's loaded.
And how does it relate to your relationships?
Cue Jeopardy theme.
Right. I'll go first on this one. Then.
Okay.
What is your perception of God? Well, first I'll answer my perception of God. To me, God is omnipresent. He is all-knowing. He is not just a figure that lives in the sky. He is the being that lives in me, the light that lives in me. And how I interact with people and interact with any relationship is a direct reflection of my admiration, my appreciation, and my gratefulness for him, right?
Yes.
Come on, sister.
Well, that is genuinely how I live my life.
Yeah.
You know, I always treat people with the question in the back of my head is, would God be happy about me treating this person this way, his child this way? So I try not to be, you know, and I'm human. I try not to be judgy. I try not to be, you know, the person that rolls their eyes, you know, at someone that might be in need of extra help or something of that nature. But I think my perception of God when it comes to being in a relationship with another person that I'm, you know, in a romantic relationship with is he has to be the focus, because that's got to be our get back on base. Because I have my thoughts and opinions that are ever changing because I'm ever changing. The way I used to think, you know, 10 years ago is not how I think right now. And I would hope that wouldn't be the same. It would be the same for the person that I'm with.
Right.
But I would always want to use God as my back to base for our relationship, for our love, because through him, everything flows. And that's all I want to do is be living in God's flow for my life in every way.
That's powerful.
So.
That's powerful.
Wow.
That's me.
What about you, Bishop?
Phew. I see God. God is love, but I see God as a personal father. So when I like being that I'm a father now, I've been a father for 14 years now, almost 15.
Wow.
Having that relationship in place showed me so much about God. And God's way of never being petty, always doing things from a place of love. So it's never petty, it's never impatient. And like what I've learned, like I often tell people, like with my son, having him made me so much more understanding of human error and so much more patient, and made me a better person and really rounded off those sharp edges, because I realized that if he blew it, it's probably because I didn't teach him. So I recognize teachable moments, I'm patient, and I do things with love. Like even if I am chastising him, it's coming from a place of love. It's not like I'm getting like joy, you know, like I can actually admit that it does hurt me more than it hurts him to whoop him, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. I haven't had to do that in years, thank God. So I see God as a father, and I see God as our example.
That's it.
Of how to love and what love is.
Wow, that's another awesome response. I think when I think about my perception of God, as I get older, it has changed a bit.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, I just saw him as a father, you know, and that's great. But I think as I navigate life as an adult, I see him more as my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, kind of how like now that I'm older, my mom was my mom, and now my mom is like my girl, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the beautiful aspect of that is God is so front and center and there with us. And sometimes that's not easily taught growing up because we revere him so much, you know, like you just want to make him so happy and you want to be so proud that sometimes you're not even, you're extremely hard on yourself and you kind of can hide from God.
Right.
And then once you get to a point in your life where you realize that there's nothing more that God wants than for you to be as close to him as possible in your mountaintops and in your valleys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think now my perception, being that he is that crutch, being that he is the driver and I'm in the passenger seat, but we're still up in the front. He's not backseat of my life, and I don't have to sit backseat and just, what is God gonna be mad about me today if I, you know, it's not that for me anymore. It's a lot of, this is my best friend that I can go to about anything.
That's right.
And the same God that he was for Adam and Eve is the same God that he was for David, is the same God that he was for Mary, is the same God that he was for Jesus, is the same God that he is for me, you know? And it's generations and things have changed and societies have changed, but he's still the ever-present God. And he can still touch us in ways across the globe, across the galaxies. He can make things happen for us. And the fact that he cares enough to consider me every day and give me breath and give me life makes me want to be a better person, not for myself and my relationship with him, but for others. Because it's like, I'm living, breathing, walking with purpose, and I thank God for that. So how can I impact and be there for other people? You know?
I often look at it, and I think that was so eloquently put, because you can always tell a person that has God in the forefront of their decisions, in the forefront of their heart, in the forefront of their life.
I agree.
Because it flows in a way where they see God in everything, in every situation, and that's really hard, and especially when we're talking about dating. Sometimes, like we were saying before, those expectations of what we think a perfect relationship is, you know, and they're not going to be met by this person that comes into your life. So there are going to be times that you are disappointed, but to have that spirit and understanding of God is always in control. There's a silver lining, you know, and the silver lining is that growth. Because, you know, when we talk about what we're here to do as people, we're here to learn. We're here to learn what it is to be in you know, in this amazing space. You know, look at our lives. We're in an amazing space in our life. The place that you are now is not where you were, you know, 5-10 years ago. But to be able to walk with that light inside of you, I think it helps you discern people. I also think it helps you mitigate the heartbreak that comes along with dating, the disappointment, and also finding that person that maybe their perception of God isn't the same way that you perceive him because your life experiences have shaped the way you perceived him too as well, right?
Right.
But you can have that grace.
Yes, grace.
Right? You can extend that grace and use it to help make you better, help, be that person in that person's life for however long you're supposed to be there to make them better. And then also grow into whoever you're either supposed to be together or separate. And I look at that in every way when it comes to dating. Like, you don't know.
Yep. Yo, I think that's powerful. It's like, what a blessed assurance to know that God already knows everything that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like how the whole thing is gonna play out. And that gives me comfort, especially navigating these relationships, because I know that, like Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to his purpose. So as I'm navigating life, as I'm navigating these dates, I know that there's something for me, even if it doesn't necessarily cross over into the marriage finish line.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all making me better and helping me be who God designed me to be.
Yes, and that was so well put. And you know what, guys? I really enjoyed this conversation.
Oh my gosh.
This episode.
Don, Bob, whoever you are, thank you for the questions. Yes.
For this debate game, Bob in UK. This was awesome. Thank you for being a part of our segment for tonight. And hey, everyone, you have a wonderful night, and we will see you on another episode of Single and Single.
You're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, we could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. You're my lucky strike.